I want a guy that's like a little broken in. You know what I mean? He needs to like have a top sheet, like have more than one pillow on his bed. I like want to be in relationships with women more, but I feel like it is like there's more drama there with women.
It's very difficult to find mature and fun. Usually it's either nice and boring.
I'm not dating a guy that like has like 3 roommates. I think it comes down to a lot of times, I don't know if this is like true with you, but like I think a lot of times people underestimate how like important pheromonal attraction is.
I want to date somebody that I have a very strong connection with, but I want to still have the polarizing aspect that makes me attracted to that person.
I guess transactional could be a word, because I even feel like people in marriages are like that too, where they just know like, hey, he's doing this for me, then like this is his role, this is my role.
Liking someone only for the connection is also a trap, because the reality is connection comes and goes too.
Just as far as looks go, taller Hispanic dudes with tattoos.
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us. First of all, thank you to all of our listeners. We have been getting some explosive growth over the last couple weeks, so we have to thank all of you guys out there for that. Today we got a special guest on the show. This is Stephani.
Hey.
Stephani, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, name, what you do, and your star sign.
Hey everyone, I'm Stephani Nicole. My handles are at Stephani in real life and at Ringleader Stephani. I'm currently doing content creation and a small business owner. Oh, and I'm Sagittarius, so do with that what you will.
It's going to be a long episode.
What's your sign?
What do you think it is? Nobody guesses mine. I kind of hate my sign, to be honest.
Oh, are you a Pisces?
How did you know?
Oh, wow. I usually...
Are you an empath? You can just read people?
I'll pretend I am. No, I'm just kidding.
Pisces, I identify as a Leo, which is my rising.
Okay.
Pisces are such crybabies. Oh, my girlfriend broke up with me. Wah, wah, wah.
I feel like the least popular 2 male signs are male Pisces and male Geminis, although I'd love to know in the comments like if that's true or if that's just my experience.
I mean, Geminis are by far the most toxic. I didn't even believe in signs until I started meeting Geminis, and I was like, wait a second. There might be some truth to this shit.
There might be.
But Sagittarius is probably one of the most toxic. I mean, you guys are up there. Oh. I have a couple interesting experiences, close relationships with Sages that never end well for some reason.
What's the worst one?
So I've only got a drink thrown in my face twice.
Only twice?
Yeah, only twice. Both of them were from your people, so.
People.
Yeah. The first one, this one was my fault. So I'm used to be very toxic back in my villain era. Yeah, I'm like a recovering fuckboy. Now I'm
recovered.
Yeah. And by the way, not like the amateur Gen Z fuckboys you see nowadays, like a professional fuckboy.
Not just the fashion of it.
How do you guys fall for these dudes that have a bed that touches 2 walls? I'm like, do you not know what a nightstand is? Stop dating these losers.
I know. And I say this to my girlfriends now, like, I want a guy that's like a little broken in. You know what I mean? He needs to like have a top sheet, like have more than one pillow on his bed. Like,
it's very rare nowadays to find this new breed of dudes. It's a different breed.
Yeah, it's scary out there.
Do you find yourself in toxic relationships often in LA?
So I'm bisexual, so I kind of like keep it interesting, like with like guys and girls, I guess. I like want to be in relationships with women more, but I feel like it is like there's more drama there with women. But yeah, like it's, okay. Craziest for me is like someone was trying to like argue with me and I was like, hey, like, I don't want to argue. Can you just like take me home? And they're like, no, I'm going to pull over on the side of the highway right now and finish the conversation with you instead of driving you home. And I was just like, dude, I can't even like get out of the car and take an Uber right now. I'm on the side of the highway. But yeah, keeps it pretty spicy, I guess, if you like toxic people. Do all of us at this point in our lives, if you're not ready to get married, do you want like a normal, stable, boring type of situation, or do you want a little extra something?
That's the thing. It's very difficult to find mature and fun. Usually it's either nice and boring, like Wisconsin, where I'm from, or it's super fucking fun and fucking toxic at the same time. Roller coaster.
Yeah, it's true. I guess like for me, I feel like a lot of times, like, being more crazy, being more toxic, I feel like a part of it is like unstable. It keeps it interesting. But I feel like also, like, if you're overthinking about me, you're worried about me and stuff like that, like, it is like not a sign of intelligence, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. How old are you? You're very confusing.
Oh no, shoot. I'm 26.
Interesting.
I know, I'm a little older. I feel like,
I would have said like 31 in personality. You look like you're like 20 with a fake ID. I don't know whether to like talk about business and investing or like doing Molly at Disneyland. It's very confusing.
I mean, that's what's great about me is we can really do both. I mean, I'm not much of a Disney person, but yeah, no, we can go business, we can go, house parties, either way. But yeah, no, I feel like that is a thing where I look younger, but yeah, when I start talking, people are like, "Oh, you're not that young," and I'm like, "Damn it!" Like,
So you get that a lot. You're kind of grew up fast for your age, a little more intelligent than
yeah,
average
I
LA
definitely.
girl.
I mean, I like to think so at least, but maybe I'm just more talkative and it sounds more intelligent. I don't know.
You're like, I'm really good at faking it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, speaking of like the whole fake it to make it thing, do you remember that Inventing Anna show and that girl?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I don't watch much TV.
Anyways, it was a show about this girl in real life
Mm-hmm.
who basically like swindled all of the like elite in New York and was like really.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, and so for some reason I was like getting ready and this 60 Minutes Australia episode of her came up. And I was almost like impressed at how like unapologetic she was. And also like I didn't find her to be like profoundly intelligent, which I would have assumed she was by that show. Like, oh my God, she tricked all of these people. And she was like, no, like it's not really hard. A lot of these people like aren't smart either. And I was like, oh wow, like it's crazy sometimes you like think based on what people are doing or where they're at in life that they must be like so much smarter than you. But sometimes I do find people that are younger than me that I'm like, wow, like what you said was just profound. I feel stupid compared to you. And like vice versa, where some of my friends are in like their 40s and my one business partner is like in her 50s. And I'm like, girl, what? Like,
Well, what's the oldest and youngest that you've dated in relation to your own age at the time?
ooh, okay. I guess I haven't like dated as in just like gone on dates or like been in a relationship.
Like more than hook up, but
Okay.
you situationship, whatever you want to call
Yeah. Okay. I guess not really anybody younger than me, to be honest with you. Maybe like the
it.
same age as me, a year younger than me. But like one of the girls I'm seeing right now, she's like 46. The other girl I was seeing for a minute was like 30, in her late 30s. I think she's like 34, or I guess that's mid 30s. And then guys, I probably dated guys in their 40s as well. It's probably.
See, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, also like going back to what we were saying earlier, like I've been in a long-term relationship with someone that was my age at one point, like most of my 20s, and like when I was like 18, like I was with the same person for a while. So it was like after getting out of that, I'm like, I definitely don't know in today's like day and age if I'd want to date like a guy my age ever again.
It's interesting you say that because when I owned the company in the modeling industry, right, we had something that we would call hot guy phase. And it would be like every time a new model would come in, 18, 19, 20, very young, they'd always be dating some young hot guy. And these guys, they're like clones of each other. They all had the TikTok hair, the dangly earring, like they all looked exactly alike. But the interesting thing was when they turned 21, 22, 23, they'd all be dating some like normal looking dude, like some dude, maybe dad bod, like some dude, if he put on a brown shirt and dropped off your UPS package, you'd be like, not surprised at all. But all of these guys would be extremely intelligent and successful and ambitious and usually older because that's usually what it takes to get to that level. It's almost like they got bored with the hot guy phase and they wanted something more interesting in their life.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, at one point I was dating a male stripper and I was like, oh yeah, like this is dope. This is everything. This is so fun. He's like partying. He's hot. We look so cool together. We get so many opportunities and get invited to all these places because we're so hot. But then it was like the drama that comes with that, like just both of us being attractive on both ends. Like, I don't know, that was kind of overwhelming. But also I just feel like for me, like we were saying earlier, like I'm not dating a guy that like has like 3 roommates. Like I'm not dating a guy that like is going to ask me to eventually go 50-50 on rent. Like I know that's like controversial for some people, but I guess like there are people that want to take care of women, and there are women that want to be taken care of, and there are guys that don't want to take care of girls, and there are girls that don't want to be taken care of. So I guess eventually they all end up with each other, or you can hope at least. But yeah, I can also, I think it comes down to a lot of times, I don't know if this is like true with you, but like I think a lot of times people underestimate how like important pheromonal attraction is.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I think like when you're younger, like you're a lot of times, and for me too, like I was like, you know, with everybody or with someone for like all of these reasons, but maybe not like it wasn't really there, and I didn't understand why it wasn't there. And then when I did end up like having like a pheromonal attraction to someone, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally crazy about this person right now. And
But
like,
are you sure it's pheromonal?
I think so at least.
Because what I will say, so I started off the biggest fucking simp, nice guy. My parents were very religious. Oh, be polite and nice to everybody. Yeah, of course, girls will love me if I do this.
Wisconsin.
And I just got, exactly. And I just got fucking friend zoned, cheated on. Oh, no, I like your friend better, blah, blah, blah. And eventually I got so fucking pissed off and frustrated with that I went like full 180, turned into the biggest sociopath, fuckboy, narcissist. But like I was saying, a professional, you know, not like the amateurs nowadays.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, magically, I'm the same person with the same brain and the same body and the same looks. But magically, girls would all of a sudden have a connection with me, right?
Oh.
And now I've kind of graduated and matured past that stage of my life. But I understand the big picture. And I wonder if it's really pheromonal, or is it their attitude that was not necessarily something that was good for you, but something that was attractive and interesting and made you want more.
So I guess like my 2 cents on that would be it would be like both. They wouldn't be mutually exclusive, like that connection and everything, and like them realizing, oh hey, actually I should have given him a chance. That'll get you guys through the door. But like what I feel like really makes a relationship sustainable is having like that scientific level of attraction to each other, like physically and I guess like emotionally. Obviously everybody wants to date their best friend. So I feel like both of those things are.
I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't want to date your best friend?
Oh, my best friend's a guy, so that wouldn't work out.
Oh.
I think I want to date somebody that I have a very strong connection with, but I want to still have the polarizing aspect that makes me attracted to that person. So I'm a very dominant person in relationships.
Okay.
I've just always been that way. I was raised very chivalry. My dad's old school, very masculine values. I'm very much a provider. If we're going on a date, I'm paying, right? If we're walking on the sidewalk, I'm walking on the car side. So if a car comes, you know, stop it with one hand, protect my chick with the other hand, you know, like man shit, you know.
It's funny, a lot of guys don't know about that.
It's so bizarre to me because it was just my dad. Like if he saw me like today walking on the wrong side, he'd be like, the fuck are you doing? Like, get on the fucking other side. It's bizarre to me that people don't understand this.
Actually, just the other day, like I'm not dating him or anything, but I was hanging out with like a guy, and like even my guy friends like usually would do that even if we're not like dating. But the guy actually, I was on one side because he was walking his dog. He went around to the other side of me and was like, oh, I want my dog to like walk on this side. And I was like, okay, like, I'll protect you and the dog. Don't worry, bro. Like, I was like, I didn't even know what to say. But I guess, like, you know, because it was romantic, maybe it didn't occur to him. And then there was another part of me that was just like, maybe just like no one ever taught him to do that. But like, I'm from the Midwest as well. I like grew up in Chicago.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. And so it is one of those things. Yeah. It's like kind of a we're definitely a different breed of people. But also I feel like, which you can tell me if you agree with this with like California culture. Mm-hmm. I feel like in the Midwest in general, because, you know, other people in other states in the Midwest too, not just like Illinois or Wisconsin, like I know the first time I'm like in a social situation with someone else, if they don't like me, they'll just be like, yeah, like I don't really like fuck with you. They're not going to try to get my Instagram, not really going to like talk it up with me. And like at one point, like they'll just like jokingly line me or something. I'm like, okay, this person doesn't really like me. That's fine. In California, I like literally thought people were my friends for like months, and then all of a sudden, like you said, they're like rolling at the club or at some like space yacht event, and they're like, actually, I didn't even really like you when I first met you, but like now I really like you. You're so great. I'm like, what? Like, you didn't even tell me for the past like 90 days you didn't really fuck with me that hard, and now all of a sudden I'm finding out. Like,
Are you talking friends or relationships?
friends.
Yeah.
Friends.
I know exactly why.
Why?
It is 10 times as hard to make female friends in LA than male friends.
Oh.
At least being a guy. So I have like probably 7 or 8 of us that I've known since like the first year I moved to LA. We've been friends the entire time, right? The problem is, for guys, we're very competitive, right? So I played football growing up, and it's like, yeah, you're in practice, you're competing for the starting role, right? And we're yelling, screaming at each other in practice, knocking each other's heads off. And then we all come back to the locker room and we're like, at the end of the day, we're on the same team here, right? Girls have this thing where they're also extremely competitive, especially in LA with the modeling industry, the acting industry, everything else.
Influencing, yeah, on social
But
media.
there's like no locker room moment. It's like girls just get pissed at each other and just continue to talk behind each other's backs like crazy.
Well, it's funny. Our only version of that, which I'm sure you've already heard about, like the drunk girls' bathroom.
Yeah.
But like at that point, we're all drunk and we're like having those moments with people that are like strangers.
The other thing I will say, though, I do put some of the blame on the fact. Okay, so I used to date this girl, right? And I would see her multiple times at a party with her actual real friends having actual real fun.
Yeah. And
then she gets a text from a promoter that there's another party and G-Eazy's there or Soulja Boy's there or this TikToker's there. And ironically, half the time, the promoter's just lying to her to get her to, and she believes it every time like a dumbass. And I will see her leave her actual friends to go to a party where like she doesn't know anybody, just for this like perceived clout or status, and she can show people that, look how cool I am at this party. And so my ex had her birthday at everybody's always asking me to use the house for events or birthdays and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, Zach, I got 80 people on the party full. She decorates the whole place, buys all this food, and like 10 people show up.
No.
And I felt really bad for her. She was crying on her birthday. I did feel really bad for her. But then the next couple days, when she got over it, I had like have like the hard talk and say, look, if you continue to prioritize clout over genuine friendships, you will continue to make your bed, and then now you have to sleep in it, and it is what it is.
That's true. I feel like too, a lot of people, like, especially because we're in LA, a lot of people don't really realize like every event that you go to like that, every party you go to, like, I understand some people are like, clout, I want to be seen there, but it's like, how are you networking and using those people to your advantage later? Like, it's one thing for a girl to leave all of her friends, go to a party, and just be there to take Instagram photos and videos. You know what I mean? And then her friends are like, dude, what the hell? But it's another thing where like, if like, cause I've done this before, not necessarily bailing on my friends, like while I'm hanging out with them, but having like, okay, I can go to like this content creation day and like network and get in videos with these other people and try to work with them later. Or I can hang out with my friends and do what we always do every Saturday night. So like once in a while I'm going to go do that, but like, I'm not doing that for like, there has to be a greater purpose or greater cause for that. Like, you know, getting in other people's videos, like networking with other people, being able to work with other people, doing content with them later and things like that. So it's like, if you're going to choose like the nightlife and networking and socializing over your friends, like, you, like, are you gaining enough that it's like valuable for you? You know what I mean? And I guess that's what it is. A lot of people like don't make it as valuable for them.
Well, the reality is, most people say what you say, right? They say, I'm going here for networking, XYZ. And I'm like, okay, you're going to Drake's party. You're not even in the music industry. You're in the acting industry. You know, so
okay, yeah,
eventually my brain
part.
figured out, like,
Yeah.
wait a sec. You just want to be, I think it's literally as simple as, you want to be the cool kid in high school who was invited to the party, and you want to say, you losers weren't invited. I was invited because I'm cool and you're not. I think it's literally a high school type of mindset. You know,
I agree, but those are like low IQ people.
It is low IQ.
Yeah,
people.
and so it's like, congratulations. And those are also probably people that like scroll on TikTok and Instagram for like over 8 hours a day. So it's like, I don't know.
One of my exes, she went to this therapist guy for like years, right? And I was like, I can tell you the reason you have anxiety, and it's not because your mom put your sister's spelling test on the fridge when you were little and not your spelling test, and now you have trauma. It's because you wake up, you take your vape in one hand and your phone in your other, and you stare at TikTok 2 inches from your fucking face for like 5 hours every morning. That's why you have anxiety. It's not because of this whatever.
And then you have an iced coffee an hour later, and then by noon you've had like however many milligrams of nicotine in iced coffee. No wonder you have anxiety.
Yeah.
With me, with some of the people, not everybody, but just like a couple people I know, like they're just like generally like not very like honest or like accountable people. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm like having anxiety, I'm having a panic attack. And a part of me is just like, I don't know if that's a panic attack or that's just you don't have a clear conscience. And like naturally that's going to be like a thing about it. So it doesn't really matter if you take a lorazepam for the rest of your life. Like you might as well just like stop being shitty to everybody around you, and maybe you'll have less stress as well.
Yeah, a lot of times it's, okay, let's fix the big problems first. That are the obvious glaring red flags in your life, and then go to therapy if it's still not working out.
Yeah, I mean, personally, which this is probably controversial as well, I'm not a fan of therapy. I don't want to go to therapy.
This must be a Midwest thing. I always get so much heat for this. Although I say therapy is not good for guys. I don't know for girls. I don't have all those extra hormones. I don't know what it's like to be a girl. But I think for guys, it is very counterproductive in 90% of the cases.
For me, I just feel like with like some things, the amount of steps I have to take back and then like do all the shadow work and healing in order to get like a couple steps further is like, I don't know. Maybe once again, maybe that's a Midwestern thing. But with some things like family or like history or whatever, I just want to put it in a box. I want to put that box in a shelf, and I just never want to open up that box again. And for some people, like they'll have like associations and stuff like that, then that'll bring them to like their trauma or whatever. I'm guessing just guys might not have as much of that. I don't have as much of that either. But okay, crazy story actually, which if she ends up seeing this is gonna be hilarious.
Go for it.
So, but like I said, I was like seeing this one girl, like kind of seeing her. We were like really good friends, and we like hooked up a couple times or whatever. And she like tells me at one point, which she was married by the way, but it was like they were cool. She was in an open marriage. She knew me and everything. And we like got into an argument about something, and I was like, dude, I need some space right now. And her like husband called me and was like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, trying to mediate. And I was like, I don't really want to have this conversation with you. And he was like, hey, she mentioned you guys were going to go to, like, couples therapy when you guys got into, like, your first argument. Whatever happened to that? And I was like, what? She said we were going to couples therapy?
Like, I was not made aware of this.
I was like, one, I was not made aware of this. And two, I feel like, yeah, I've made it pretty clear. One, I'm not interested in going to therapy, let alone, like, you want to go to couples therapy when you're in an open relationship and you're going to like couples therapy with your husband and me? Like, I don't know, dude. That was wild.
That sound wild.
Right?
Did you go or no?
No, of course not. I told him, I was like, I don't know why she even told you that. Her and I never had that conversation. I'm not going to couples therapy. I'm not going to any level of therapy. But have you ever had to go to couples therapy?
It wasn't couples therapy. So the girl that I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
After I told her that I knew the reason for her anxiety and she didn't need therapy anymore, she told her therapist. And then the next week she's like, Zach, my therapist wants you to come into our session.
Ooh.
Because I think he saw, hey, my client, I'm going to lose this client unless I can like somehow change the situation. So it wasn't couples therapy. But then I fucking go in there and this guy's telling me that I'm the reason now for her trauma. I'm the toxic thing in her life. And halfway through, I realize this guy's trying to fuck my girlfriend.
Ooh.
And so I fucking stormed out of the therapist room, right? She comes running up to me, Zach, what are you doing? I'm like, your therapist is trying to fuck you. And she's like, first of all, Zach, he's not my therapist. He's my energy healer.
No.
And I'm like, he's not even a real therapist? What is an energy healer? You climb to the top of a mountain and you get struck by lightning. Now you're an energy healer? Like, your Walmart brand therapist is trying to tell me what to do. So.
Actually, that reminds me. Okay, you know the guy that used to be in the suit of Barney the dinosaur?
I heard. Didn't he like molest kids or some shit?
Well, I think that was the other one,
Okay,
but
okay.
he's now the same thing. He's like an energy, like sex healer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he's like found a lot of his like clients on like Tinder and shit like that.
Crazy.
And the funniest part about that's like wild to me, but I guess like because he's like a a sexual energy healer, he can't use a condom because that would block
Oh yeah,
the energy
of course,
flow.
yeah.
So he just has to
Smart.
sleep with all of his patients raw.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, how else are you gonna heal them unless you bang all your patients?
yeah, you
Obviously.
get a little chlamydia in the meantime. It's just a side effect of the energy healing, right?
Hey, would
Like,
you rather have lifelong trauma or a little chlamydia?
Little
You take
chlamydia.
care of it, no big deal.
wild.
That's
But
crazy. It's
honestly,
crazy people fall for it though. It's like
I was about to say, mad respect to him for being able to like pull that through to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? But I wonder, like, I bet you there's like one hot one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure most of them are probably not good looking.
that's true.
But I bet you there's one hot one.
And he's like, yes, finally it
Yeah,
worked.
it made it all
my
worth
plan
it.
paid off.
Yeah. What would you do? Like, if you were a chick and you're like talking to this guy, he's like really like convincing you, and then all of a sudden you find out he used to be the man in the Barney the dinosaur suit.
It's funny because girls love clout. But I'm like, would that clout still be clout, or would they be like, this is fucking lame, like the Barney guy, or would they be like, yeah, I'm dating the Barney? Because I've heard girls like be excited that they're dating like a big name anything, almost like big name fucking Rubik's Cube player or some shit, big name video game person. Like they don't care. It's just clout is clout is clout.
Yes.
So I wonder if they would care about the Barney suit.
I don't know. For me, I can't think of anything that would make me more dry than that. Like, no. But also, like, have you ever, like, I swear on several occasions, like, my friends are like, I'm dating a celebrity's, like, cousin or, like, brother. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way. Like, this guy's probably said this,
full
like,
of shit,
of
probably.
course, but I can't be the one. You know what I mean? I always look like the asshole when I'm like, dude, did they prove it to you? Like,
I cannot tell you how many times a girl has told me, oh, I'm seeing this guy, he's Drake's manager. It's always Drake's manager. I'm like, I can do one Google search and tell you this is not fucking Drake's manager. And it's like 3 different guys. Like, I've met so many Drake's managers.
there was one though, I can't remember his name. He seemed like he was legit, and like he was basically posting like he wanted like escorts to come on vacation with him.
Oh, that's probably
So I
possible, for
wonder, like, yeah, if maybe he was affiliated and like these girls are like, I'm dating him, when really they just went to Cabo for the weekend and like, I don't know. But the funniest, because I was following him for a while, I can't remember his name or else I would drop it right now. But I like saw he was like posting for girls to, like, come do something, and I was like, I'm not responding, but like interested to see how this like pans out.
Yeah.
And then like a couple days later, he's posting about how someone like stole some stuff from the house, and they have the footage, they have their information. Her friends need to like have her give the stuff back, and I'm just like,
That's crazy.
you invited random girls from Instagram to come on vacation and sleep with you. Like,
I had this girl steal $450 in my Dave & Buster's power card. I was very upset about it.
that's
I had a lot of
peculiar.
points on that thing. I was going to get the remote control car soon. And
You're
she fucked
building
me
up.
over.
God, that bitch.
That bitch.
Oh my gosh.
Still never got it back.
Right? I
Is
don't
what it
think
is.
I don't think anyone's ever stolen from me that I've dated, thankfully.
Do you date more so guys or girls? Do you have a preference, or is it literally 50-50?
So like I said, like I was in like one like really long-term relationship, and I haven't been like single super long after that. But I was dating one guy for a really long period of time. Since then, I've been like kicking it and hooking up with more women, but I've like dated a guy.
I see.
Yeah, like
Is there something that like is more like, oh, girls are more just fun but I could never date a girl, or would you be open to dating a girl?
Oh, I would be totally open. And I don't know, once again, if this is controversial or whatever, but my experience, like, being bisexual is, like, I enjoy being, like, a female in my relationships. And because I'm, like, financially stable, I'm doing well, I have, like, you know what I mean? I have my shit together. A lot of the times, like, the girls I'm dating want me to be daddy. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not daddy, I'm baby. Like, I want you to be daddy. So it's just kind of, like, figuring that out, like, with the right female that I do have chemistry with and I vibe with. That's been kind of the biggest thing. It's obviously a lot easier to find dominant men than dominant women.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, personally, me too, like, I'm like, I don't mind butch girls, but like I've never dated a stud, never really have like repeatedly hooked up with any studs. Like I like feminine women, I like masculine men. Like, so that's been kind of the thing too, is just like, yeah, like finding the right girl that's also like mentally stable and doing well. Like, I guess just in the circles that I've been, it's been easier for me to find men to like date and feel like I could be more serious with in a potential relationship later than like the girls I'm more like having fun with, and you know, they're either married or like, you know, dating other guys too.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I think, to find more of the provider role, which you said you're more interested in. Have you ever tried the dabbled in the sugar daddy scene?
So
You
with
ever been interested in it?
with modeling and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
like learned a lot about it. But like, and not that I haven't been presented. And what's the funniest thing? I didn't know. Okay, wait, I'll finish what I'm saying and then I'll go into the rant.
Okay.
No, not really. Like I've had people like talk to me about it. I've had girls that wanted me to go on like seeking arrangement dates with them because they wanted like a third or whatever, but not necessarily my thing. I like hooking up girls with other people if I'm, you know, seeing, and that'll work out. But okay, what was I about to say earlier? Shoot, now I got on a tangent. Okay, like with the modeling and stuff. Like my friends in the summer, they'd always be like, "Oh yeah, come on our friend's yacht. No guys though, like come on the yacht." And I'd be like, "Oh, okay." And so like me and my friends would all come on the yacht, and then like, you know, there's like a guy and then his two friends there, and I figured out later on like they were trying to cast me and all my friends to be their sugar babies, but like I didn't really catch on to it, I guess, or there wasn't really like ever that much pressure. So I guess like being in Southern California, like, and being a model, like if any girl says that like she's never even thought about it or never like looked at a website or anything, like that would be hard to believe. But based on what I do for work and everything, like I don't really need to go that route right now. I think like, yeah, if I was in like a really bad position, I was down to find a guy that like could date me and take care of me, like I'm not opposed to it, but I'm gonna try to be an independent woman first.
Interesting. I've never tried it either. There in Wisconsin, there's no sugar daddy scene. The guys are too broke and the girls are too ugly. It just like doesn't happen much.
I figured that you were a model manager. You weren't like casting your models off seeking arrangements.
I did get no. I never.
What's the other
I
one?
never
Raya?
pimped out.
You were on Raya? What's going on?
I did get accused one time of being a sugar daddy, which is a false accusation. I was still mad at the girl. She's still my friend.
Ladies, he's not a sugar daddy. No, I'm just kidding.
So, well, the problem is, like I said, like I was raised very chivalrous, right?
Yeah.
So like dates, I'm paying for everything, blah blah blah. Now, I like to travel too, and if I'm dating a girl, and I want to go to Europe or Asia or Australia, it's like I'm paying for the whole trip, because I would feel weird, like, hey, did you get the Venmo request for the $87.17 for the Uber? Like, I would feel more weird saying that than just be like, no, I'm a man.
Yeah.
I want to go on this trip anyway. I'm taking you with me. I'm going to pay for it. That's just how I am. So this girl that I'm good friends with, she's like queen of the sugar babies. She has like 10 sugar daddies. Each one pays for a different part of her. She has like all the infinity stones of the sugar daddy. She's like very powerful.
Oh my gosh. I'm impressed.
And she's like, Zach, you know you're a sugar daddy. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, every guy pays for something. Maybe you just pay for drinks. Maybe you also pay for dinners. Maybe you pay for trips. Maybe you buy purses. And she's like, there's just low-class sugar daddies and high-class sugar daddies. Everybody's a sugar daddy. And I was mad because in the moment, I didn't have a good comeback. And it was in front of my friends. So she looks smarter than me, and I'm much smarter than hers, but she kind of got me.
Well, I think the difference is, are you providing for a girl that you're choosing, or did you form like with her? And those guys, I'm sure, because that's my understanding with my friends that do too, they're in, like, that's why it's called seeking arrangements. It's an arrangement. Like my friends that are in arrangements, or like girls like that I've seen like dating older guys where I'm assuming that's a situation, they don't get to bitch at them about the things your girlfriend bitched at you about. When they're on vacation, they're not like, you know what I mean? They're like on like that guy's
It's like a transactional relationship to some extent.
I mean, I guess transactional could be a word, because I even feel like people in marriages are like that too, where they just know like, hey, he's doing this for me. That like, this is his role. This is my role. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, your role is, you know, like, hey, I'm here to like make sure he's having a good time. I'm here to like have him have fun. But the weird thing with that though, like, okay, like I hear with those situations, like the girls will like, let's say the guy's like, oh, I want to take you to Italy for 2 weeks. I'll be like, well, I'm going to lose all this money at work. So you have to pay for my trip and then give me like a lump sum
Like,
of money too.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I couldn't imagine like being like, oh, so you're going to take me. And I'm also going to need like to make up all the money that I'm going to lose from work. And you're also going to need to pay for my hair and my nails. Like, I mean, I'm impressed. I love that, you know, some girls are able to do that, but it's just like, I don't know. It seems a little bold.
It's an interesting whole scene, and because I will say there is some gray area where I have known girls who have had sugar daddies and then they genuinely fall in love with their sugar daddies. And then at that point, it's almost like a real relationship. It's like really not that much different.
Yeah.
But that's the way I see it, is like, okay, if I take a girl on a trip, it's a trip, number one, that I would be doing anyway. Number two, that I'm enjoying sharing the experience with her. So I'm also getting something out of it. It's like a shared experience. Versus for me, if I buy a girl a Louis Vuitton purse, I literally give two fucks about a Louis Vuitton purse. In that situation, it feels like it's, here's a purse so you will like me. It feels like I'm doing this to get you to like me, and not we just have a relationship and I'm just a man, so I fucking pay for shit.
Yeah, I feel that too. And I prefer more experience-based dates or like experience-based like connection as well. But maybe that's like one of the love languages things. Like you prefer quality time than gifts and what's it?
I'm more physical touch and words of affirmation.
Okay.
What's yours?
All of them. Do it all. No, I'm just kidding.
Red flag. Giant red flag.
Do the most for me.
You have to do everything for me.
Yeah, just, you know. And no, I guess I don't know. I guess physical touch, but like I don't want like at a party, I'm not trying to be PDA the whole time. You know what I mean? And so I think like that's why I guess it's hard for me to define what it is, because it's like not like mood dependent, but you know what I mean? I feel like some people that are like, oh, like I like touching and stuff like that. Okay, I don't want you to be like touching me when I'm at a party or at the bar constantly, you know what I mean? But like when we have our time.
You don't like clingy guys who
No,
are all over you
yeah, I don't really like the clinginess, which also that's why I feel like words of affirmation. Like I don't really need that much like affirmation either. So I guess, yeah, like physical time might be mine. I like gifts, but like I said, I want it to be like more like thoughtful. You know what I mean? I'm not like, but that's why I like the experiences too. So I feel that. Or like concerts, you know, like stuff like that. It's the same. Like I don't think I've ever had anybody I'm dating like be like, okay, we need to go buy this bag right now. Like we've like gone to the mall, then gone shopping together where we're both like trying on things and getting things. But it's like.
But are they buying you things, or are you just paying for your own?
No. Yeah.
You said no. What?
We're going shopping. Yeah.
Like you.
Well, not ew. Like I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's just not for me anymore. Like I said, I feel like I did my time with like going 50-50 in a relationship and paying for myself on everything.
I think that more girls should care about money in a relationship, and not in a gold digger kind of way, but in a. I got an argument with my mom the other day about this, actually.
Oh yeah.
So she's like, Zach, you're in LA. You know, you're always dating models, actresses. Like, why don't you should care about personality. Find a nice girl at church, right? She's very conservative. I'm like, Mom, do you want me to date? Are you saying I should date uglier girls? And she's like, no, not ugly, just like good personality. I'm like, okay, Mom, let's do the math on this. Do there exist hot girls with good personalities? Yes. And there's ugly girls with good personalities. Of course I want the beautiful girl who also has a good personality. And I think girls, it's like, yeah, there's rich dudes with great personalities or broke dudes with good personalities. Like, if you are a good-looking girl and you have the opportunity, why wouldn't you take the rich dude with a good personality? Like 2 + 2 is 4. Like, what do you want people to do? It doesn't make sense to me.
And I think with both of those situations, like, don't lower your standards in any situation. You know what I mean? Like, it's better to like, and I just think with people, like, especially after my one long-term relationship, I was like young, I didn't really know anything, and I got out of it and I had to learn a lot. But it was like, I'm gonna be attracted, I'm gonna have chemistry with people for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So it's like, do I want to find chemistry with someone that fits what I'm looking for, or do I want to find someone that I have chemistry that I try to make fit into what I want later on? And it's like, that's why I think a lot of girls like are unhappy in their relationships is because and it's like kind of going back to, oh, I can change him, or like falling in love with the potential of the guy. It's like, I'm not here to like see the potential in a guy or a girl that I'm dating. I'm not here to try to get them there. Like with my friends all day long, like I'll invest in you. I'll like, do everything you need to get you to the next step. Like I'm there for all my friends. Like they'll all like vouch for that. But like, in the dating scene, like if I'm really like dedicating the rest of my life to you, like I have my shit together, I want you to have your shit together. I'm trying to make more money, I want you to have more money, but I also want you to like do better than me. I want to learn from the person I'm dating as well. You know what I mean? I would love to be like, oh, what's her name, Lisa Vanderpump, have like a husband, but then also have my own stuff that I do and be my own type of businesswoman, And I think especially in LA, like that's definitely possible, but it's not really things that they do talk about in the Midwest. Like I don't think any of like the girls that I know that model in Illinois or on Seeking or Raya or whatever those other sites are, like it's just not really talked about as much.
Plus it's like if you get married to like a broke guy, it's kind of like, you want to fly middle seat on Spirit the rest of your life? You want to look down at your ticket, seat 57F, like, where is our seats, babe, in the back? Get the binoculars out. It's like why wouldn't you want a lifestyle on top of also having a connection with somebody?
I mean, I know, and I don't know, but it's funny because I feel like if some people like heard me say that, they would think that was like shallow or like, I don't know.
I don't think it is. I also think like liking someone only for the connection is also a trap, because the reality is connection comes and goes too. People act like, oh yeah, connection is forever. I'm like, you know how many people I know broke up with somebody because the connection got lost, I fell out of love, XYZ reason. In fact, I hear that much more than, oh, like he lost all his money and now we broke up. Like, I think you need as many things lining up as possible.
I feel you, and that was kind of like part of the reason why like my one relationship ended, is like, as like an adult, especially like when I resent my partner, I like genuinely have no idea what to do with that emotion. You know what I mean? So it's like the chemistry at one point didn't outweigh the resentment and the frustration and the like bullshit. So it's like you can have a connection with someone your whole life, but the other bullshit is gonna outweigh, where it's like, who fucking cares that you and I have a great connection? Like, I'm crying every day, fuck this. Like, yeah, so I don't know, but I think with everybody, like, be picky, you know what I mean? Like, don't settle, take your time. But also I say this is like a girl in her late 20s, almost in her 30s, without any kids and isn't married and stuff like that.
Almost in your 30s, like you're so old.
Well, okay, but when you go to some of these photo shoots, or like, where was I at the other day? I don't know. It was like a content creation thing, and at one point I was like, I might be the oldest person here. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm at the grocery store afterwards, and the bagger is like, oh, like, did you need bags, ma'am? And I'm like, is there a reason why you called me ma'am instead of miss? Like, do I look old? Like, but yeah, that's like how LA is though, right? Like people are pretty active out here. You see like people that are, I guess that's one thing I really didn't see in Illinois. I never saw any kids that were like really young and really successful. You know what I mean? I've never saw like 18-year-old kids with Porsches and stuff like that. Like it's just...
And half of it is too, is a lot of it is just mommy and daddy's money, and they tell you, yeah, I have a crypto app, and you're like, what's the website? And they're like, they don't have a website, and you're like, nah, you just have mommy's and daddy's money, and it is what it is,
Right.
It's interesting. Well, what's your type when it comes to guys? Let's go looks first.
Okay, gosh, I don't know who's gonna hear this right now, but whatever. Just as far as looks go, taller Hispanic dudes with tattoos.
Interesting. Very specific.
Yeah.
And they have to be taller than you.
Yeah, I would prefer it. Yeah, and then if we're being picky, also would ride a motorcycle and can do wheelies on the motorcycle.
Okay, you like the bad boys type.
But like you also like have a career or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if we're just going for looks, it doesn't even necessarily be fuckboy. But I ride a motorcycle too, so like I like that, like lifestyle stuff like that. But yeah, as far as looks go, that would be like.
I dated one time a girl who was the first fashion model I ever dated. She was 5'11", so she was 3 inches shorter than me, but with heels, it's like pretty borderline. And she said that she used to always date like basketball players, NBA players, stuff like that, because they're so tall. And she got fucked over so many times. She's like, Zach, I'm going to date a short king. And then she starts dating the short guy who's like 5'9", and which is actually average height for a guy, but she was towering over him like Shrek.
For her, that's a short king. Yeah, for me,
yeah.
it's not.
And she told me, she was like, one day he comes over and she's like, I had like 3 glasses of wine already in me. And she's like, Zach, I opened the door. I gave him a hug. And she's like, I picked him up and I spun him around and I watched his little legs flail out. She's like, Zach, I lost all respect for him after that day.
She was so dry at that point.
And I was just like, it was your fault, but I get it. Like, I understand. You want to feel like a woman. You want to feel like somebody is putting you in that role because that's where you feel sexy and hot and everything else. So I get it. But.
Yeah, it makes sense. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like, or I guess for her, like you said, 5'9" is a short king. But I feel like a lot of girls, like some of my friends are taller as well. And the worst part about it is when they like kind of settle for a guy that's like shorter than them and then they get treated badly. It's like almost like a double insult. They're like, I like even gave him a chance and he was a short king and then he disrespected me. It was like I lowered my standards for him and then he still disrespected me. Like, I'm like, oh, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I have heard a lot of girls say, if I'm going to get cheated on, I'd rather get cheated on by an attractive guy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's really good logic, but
no, for
I
me,
mean, I get it, but I'm kind of like, I don't know.
I would just want to be cheated on by someone who would use a condom. You know what I mean?
Work smart. That's called brains. Big brain energy over
just
here.
Just protect my health.
Big
you know what I mean?
energy.
Don't let me find out about it. I feel like most people are fucking creeping nowadays anyways. Like, whatever. Just, like, don't hurt anybody. Like, don't get anybody's health in jeopardy. Like, please. Like, you know what I mean? And that's the craziest. Like, some of my friends have actually found out they were getting cheated on because their pH was disrupted.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah. And she was like, dude, like, and I was like, girl, there's only one reason. And she's like, I think so. I was like, yeah. Like, maybe you should start using a condom with him. She's like, well, now he's gonna think I'm cheating on him. I'm like, nah, don't let him gaslight you like that. Don't let him do it. No.
I always wear a condom, even when I'm dating a girl, and my guy friends think I'm crazy. And I'm just like, I had a pregnancy scare once also too that like really fucked me up mentally. And after that, I was like, fuck that shit. But
yeah.
I can't believe how many people just raw dog strangers from the fucking club. I'm like, y'all are going to get something. It's a matter of time.
It's crazy to me. And honestly, when you started that sentence, I thought you were going to say even when I get head. And I was going to be like, no, you don't.
No, I did when I was like, because I grew up with like the Catholic guilt kind of thing.
No.
So like I did when I was like early 20s.
No.
And then finally just enough girls were like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm weak. That's too funny though. But I don't know. Like I remember in like sex ed or something, they told people like you're supposed to be using a condom. Or I think maybe it was like the first time I went to Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, you're supposed to be using a condom even for oral sex. And I was like, that's a thing? Like, there's no way.
Weirdos.
Yeah. But also like the sexually transmitted infection rate in California is pretty high. Like, and also, I heard that at first the law was you do have to let people know in California if you have like a sexually transmitted disease that's like incurable or whatever that could like be passed on to them. They like changed that law and now it's not illegal anymore. And I don't really understand it, but I'm like, how could anybody be like, yeah, actually, we're going to take that back. You guys don't need to inform other people.
I mean, that shit is scary, to be honest.
Yeah. Or actually going back to Planned Parenthood again, which is actually interesting because I'm bi. They always like at Planned Parenthood, if I'll like go there, they'll offer me PrEP. And I'm like, no, you think I would rather take PrEP instead of just using a condom?
I see.
Like I'd rather take a drug to probably not get AIDS instead of use a condom. It's like, no, even if there's a 0.00001% chance I could get AIDS from sleeping with a guy that slept with another guy, I'm not gonna take PrEP every day of my life. Like, what?
Yeah, and so, like, on the off chance that you like.
But obviously, this is being offered at Planned Parenthoods across America because there are that many people that would prefer it. And I'm not a guy, and I've never been a guy that had sex with a guy, so I'll never know what it's like to use a condom or not use a condom or anything. So maybe my opinion is invalid. But I find it so fascinating that this was even created so people could have like unprotected, safer, unprotected sex, I guess.
It is bizarre. It is bizarre for sure. I had one time where, so I have these condoms that like, they kind of like numb your dick. So if you want to last a really long time, like if it's like first time sleeping with a girl, you want to like fucking nail it down. You want to fucking lay down the wood. You know what I mean? You wear that on round 1. So then, round 1, sometimes you don't last as long. You can go like forever, right? So one time I did that with a girl, round 1. And then for round 2, she starts like giving me a blowjob. But I hadn't like washed the numbing stuff off my dick.
Oh no.
So she puts it in her mouth. She's like, ugh. She's like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, go wash off your mouth. But like at first she was like, your dick is fucking nasty. And I was like,
right. She's like, what is this taste? You're like, no, it's lidocaine.
I was like, don't worry. It's just numbing cream. Just don't. But it was kind of embarrassing because like I usually don't tell girls that.
Well, and at that
I've
point,
done
what are you
that,
going to say?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. Otherwise she's just going to think I was like some fucking STD or some shit.
I mean, if anything, though, just be like, I was just so excited to be with you. Like, right? I bet at that point, though, you're going back to the simping. So, I don't know.
Be a simp.
No.
I wish I could be a simp.
You said
Wish
you
I could
used to
just be a little simp guy, run around with my simp friends, ride our bird scooters around town, but I'd be alone the rest of my life,
Straight up.
Yeah.
So what is like the craziest thing you've ended up doing as a simp for another girl back in the day?
In high school, I was very shy, very awkward. My family didn't have money, so I got made fun of a lot. So I couldn't get a girl to save my life. I was just like, in fact, my freshman year, someone started a rumor that I was gay because I was like that bad with girls, which like gay wasn't like cool and trendy like it is now.
Yeah,
it was
you could have still gotten beat up for it.
So my junior year, finally, this girl, my friend is like, oh, this girl, Julie, wants you to ask her to prom. And I'm fucking pumped, right? I'm like, don't fuck this up, Zach. Don't fuck this up. Ask her to prom. We start dating. And I would do the cringiest fucking shit because I was like in love or whatever. So I would literally drive to the Walmart between our houses every Monday at 6 a.m. I would pick up a bag of the purple Skittles because that was her favorite Skittles and some flowers and write like a cute note and like put it on her doorstep so she would like be surprised, like real simp shit, right? I did it for 3.5 years.
Every day?
Every Monday.
Oh, every Monday. Okay.
And 3.5 years later, we're in college, right? We're getting our majors or whatever. And my friend calls me on the phone and he's like, yo, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but I was at a party last night and I see Julie. She goes off into this room with another guy. They're in there for like 45 minutes. Everybody's saying they hooked up. And I'm like, no, bro, I'm in love. She would never do this to me.
Never do it to me.
We're going to get married someday, like a little simp. So the next day, I go confront her. I drive an hour to her school, go to her dorm room. I'm like fucking shaking at the door. I'm like knocking, right? And she opens the door. And instead of being like, oh my God, you surprised me, she was like, what are you doing here? And that moment, I knew she cheated on me. But the worst part was the guy she cheated on me with was the guy she would always call me and complain about. Oh, he's an asshole. He's hooking up with 2 of my friends at the same time behind their backs and they found out. Fuck this guy. And I'm like, that's the fucking guy you were hooking up with? And I still remember the last thing I said to her. I was like bawling my eyes out at this point, and she was just like very nonchalant, like unaffected.
Yeah.
And I was like, Julie, I would do anything in the world to make you happy. I just want to know why. And she literally goes like this. She like shrugs her shoulders and she's like, I just got bored. And that second, I was like, I will never be this fucking simp, nice guy loser ever again. And so that's when the next 8 years, every day I'd wake up and fucking grind on my YouTube channel. And every night I would just try to fuck as many girls as possible to fucking fill the void and become a giant fuckboy, right? And so 8 years later, I finally made it. My YouTube channel blows up. I moved to LA, mansion, models, cars, everything, right? And I find my ex on Instagram. I haven't talked to her in 8 years. And so I go follow her, right? And she follows me back.
You followed her?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, so this is why I did it. So I wanted her to follow me back. And then that night,
just so you could flex on her.
I posted so many stories. Cars, mansion, models all over me, right? And she unfollows me the next day. So then I go to Walmart the next day. I get a bag of the purple Skittles and I take a picture. And then I put, thank you for making me the man that I am today with a picture. And then underneath I put, so I can get girls who are way hotter than you and your big nose, fire emoji. And that moment healed my inner child, No more trauma. I win, you lose. Nana nana boo boo. Stick your head in doo doo. And ever since then, I stopped all the fuckboy shit. It's like I didn't need it, and I just
You were released.
I was like released. No therapy needed. Saved so much fucking money in therapy. So.
You know what's funny too? Because I feel like I bet you, like for her for the rest of her life, you set a standard for her now that a lot of guys probably can't live up to.
Probably. I fucked over her like future
You know what
guys.
I mean? Like I bet
Probably
you.
True.
Swear to God, you'd on anything. Cause yeah, like I always see that. Like I'm sure we've all seen that here and there on Instagram. Like this guy doing all this crazy stuff for this girl, and I always go straight to the comments, straight to the comments.
Yeah.
And it's always girls be like, "My standards have officially been raised. No man does this. This was scripted." Like all.
And then all the guys are like, "Fucking simp, fucking loser. She's probably cheat on you right now with a fuckboy."
It's almost like no one's happy to see those videos. You know what I mean? I go to the comments, like girls are either like, "Oh, like my life isn't as good as this. I don't have a partner that would do that." Guys are like, "Damn, he's like trying to make it seem like we should do more work than we are. Like, fuck this." Mm-hmm. And then, you know, the other people are like, "It's not even real." Like, it's like, damn.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Actually, I was on this guy's page the other day. If I find it, I'll send it to you. It was hilarious. And it was like, he is a fucking simp. And then, like, I think that's the video I'm even thinking about where it was, like, getting the car ready for my passenger princess. And it's, like, him putting this, like, little basket of all of these things together. And I was like, he should be doing that for his children. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Some girls out here are like children. I will say that. But it is what it is.
That's why they call them daddies, right? No, I'm just kidding. I don't understand the whole relationship.
What do you look for personality wise in guys?
Well, I guess like emotional and social intelligence is really important. For me, I feel like because I'm one of those people, like I will sometimes be in like some really weird, like ratchet white trash activities, but then sometimes I'm in like nice parties in Newport and stuff like that. Like being able to date someone that can like, or just even like, you know, potentially think about dating someone that would be able to like handle going into all these different situations and maintaining themselves, presenting well, you know what I mean?
Socially intelligent.
Yeah. Emotional intelligence, social intelligence, like I guess also like intelligence, but also like the ability to adjust to their environment, and you know what I mean. I guess that's kind of the most important. Kind of covers a lot.
Intelligence has become increasingly. I've been a lot more picky on who I date, and like you said, I agree. It's not about you went to college or you read a bunch of books or something like that, but somebody who's at least interested in having conversations about psychology and why people the way they are and understands the people's motivation behind doing things. I just get bored if I can't talk to somebody about. I don't know what I talked to girls about in my 20s. I really don't even remember. I'm like, what did I do for the 4 hours that we talked before we had sex? I don't even remember.
I remember for you. All you did was ask her questions about herself. And she probably just talked about herself. And this is why now we're on a podcast today where you're just asking all these hot girls questions about themselves. No, I'm just kidding. But really,
it finally worked.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's kind of like what I feel like I do when I'm in places where I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm hanging out with these two girls for the rest of the day. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to ask them questions about themselves. And the funniest thing is, because I'm also someone who can talk, like I can talk a lot if you ask me about myself too, is that like sometimes I realize at the end of the day, I'm like, oh wow, I really just like didn't really talk about myself that much. And then those are the people that always end up liking me the most, where I don't really talk about myself and all they do is talk about themselves. But I'm like, I didn't really bond with you because all you did was talk about yourself, but you felt like we had like a really great conversation because all you did was talk about yourself. And that's why you don't remember, but other people might.
This one girl that I went on a date on, I still remember. It was so funny. So we were sitting at like a table where like I was here and she was like on like the corner, like not across from each other. And she was just one of these talkers where she would just go on and on and on. And I got kind of like a little bit like annoyed and like bored after a while because I'm like, it's just like too much about herself, right? So I already know I'm not going to ask her on a second date. So I decided to do like an experiment where I just took my phone out and I hit the timer. And I was like, if I don't say one single word, how long will she talk for?
Oh, God.
And it was like 25 minutes.
No.
I didn't say, it was like she would say something And it's like her brain would like associate it, and then she would like go into this, and then her brain would associate again. She wouldn't even finish stories. She would just get halfway through one story, and she had all these like open stories and then she would finish one of the stories and then go back to the other one. She didn't finish it. It was bizarre. It was so bizarre to me.
Sounds a little neurodivergent. You know what I mean?
I don't know what that means.
Like someone that might be like on a spectrum.
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, because you know what I mean? Like, because I definitely met some of those people too, like not saying she was or wasn't, but like one of the people I met that was kind of like that, I would like see them interact with other people and it was like exactly the same. And so it was like.
Actually, maybe because she had really trouble making eye contact. Like she was like staring. That's why I said we're on the corner of the table. She wasn't looking at me. She would like look over there.
That's why she wasn't even picking up any social cues that you weren't fucking interested. And then actually I've done this before too, especially when like, we're smoking weed, everybody's stoned. Everybody's kind of lazy stoned. For some reason, I'm hyper stoned. I'm like telling a story, then I realize nobody's really interested. And there's like a silence. And then I'm like, oh no, now I have to fill the silence. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear me talk anymore, but no one else is talking. Like, what the hell do I do?
That's hilarious.
So I wondered too if at one point she was like, oh my God, this guy's not talking. I just have to keep talking. Like.
What is, let me ask you this. So tall, tattoos, masculine, emotional intelligence, all these things, right? So you have like pretty high standards when it comes to guys compared to most girls, I think. Well, what do you, which I think is good, what do you bring it to the table to match those standards?
Not to brag, but I'm financially independent. I own my car. I own my motorcycle. I have my own place. I don't have any roommates. Like, I have my career set up. Like, if I want to be with someone, it's because I want to be. You know what I mean? Like, there's no date a guy can take me on that I can't take myself on.
I see.
So it's like, and another part of me wants to be like, I don't bring anything to the table. I'm not the fucking waitress, but no, that's not true.
Well, I'm not saying bring to the table I'm not a waitress.
What do you mean? You're bringing me dinner? No. I don't know. I feel like I bring a lot to the table. I mean, I know I'm not like the stereotypical, like, Victoria's Secret model, but I do think, I'm intelligent. I'm someone you can introduce like to your parents. I'm someone that, you know what I mean?
You do seem to have a deeper understanding on relationships and a level of self-awareness that I do feel like is missing from a lot of people.
Yeah, I might not be the best with relationships, but I do have like I feel like I'm highly aware of myself, and I feel like, what is the way to put it? Like, a lot of people can't look at themselves or situations like unobjectively. For me, I'm just like, okay, logically speaking, like what's happening right now, instead of like trying to look at it through my own perspective. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just stoned sometimes and I'm getting it wrong too. You never know.
But it works.
Right.
All right, we are about out of time.
Oh my gosh.
I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Oh God.
Quick answers, quick questions, quick answers. Favorite food?
Bread.
Bread.
All types of bread. Any type of bread.
So do you like go to Italian places and like you just can't wait for the bread to come out at the beginning?
Yeah, and I like nice bread. Yeah, I'm just thinking like something I could eat for the rest of my life and not get sick of. You know what I mean? Like I love pasta, I love salad, other things like that. But yeah.
That's funny. I've never heard. Everybody's like, oh, like Italian or like sushi or something.
Oh, they went vague. I went specific.
I mean, it works. I mean, if you love bread, everybody has their thing.
Little bird.
Yeah. Favorite candy?
Oh, shoot. Wow, that's actually a good question. I guess gummy bears. Any sort of gummy bears.
Interesting. Favorite first date spot or activity?
Ooh, motorcycle ride. Then we stop somewhere like Sunken City or go to Ortega Highway, Mulholland, something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Dinner somewhere epic with a view. Yeah.
Yeah. Motorcycles are fun.
Yeah, I really like them.
Yeah. I drove one of my friends one time without a license, which is not allowed, but it was fun.
I actually still don't have my license, but it doesn't matter. It's been less than a year.
You're like, we're fine. Like, I can ride a bike. It's the same shit.
Well, and it's just like, one, like I barely ever see motorcyclists get pulled over. And two, I think it's just like a fix-it ticket anyways, but don't quote me on that.
What is the next travel destination you haven't been to, but you really want to go?
I'm actually really excited. In April, I'm going to Italy for a wedding, and
Nice.
yeah, I feel like I'm the only one that hasn't gone to the Amalfi Coast, so I gotta hit that.
Yeah. Venice is overrated in Italy. I like Florence a lot.
Oh, okay.
Rome is good for like history and that kind of thing. I'm not as into that side of traveling as most people are, but
Yeah, no, we're not doing the architectural walk or anything.
I just don't want a fucking guy in an oversized shirt and glasses teaching me about the culture. I want to experience the culture by like meeting actual people from.
Yeah, I
the
want to
site.
like do what the locals do. Yeah, I feel
I'm the
that.
same way. All right. Well, we're out of time. Where can people find you? What's your Instagram, TikTok, anything like that?
Yes. Okay. So at Stephani in real life on Instagram and at Ringleader Stephani on Instagram as well.
And that's Stephanie with an I, correct?
Yes. Yes. I mean, when you start typing or just type in Stephani Nicole, you might find it. Then on TikTok, it's also Stephani in real life. Yeah. Anybody that follows me, I'll follow everyone back.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. We'll have to do a round 2 sometime.
Oh, really? No way.
Awesome. Thanks for watching.